first-degree murder charges after a hit and run on Siksika Nation.
There seemed to be a deliberate component to it.
No one deserves to die like that.
As loved ones remember the victims. National attention for an Alberta by-election.
There's a lot of shared values across this province and across this country.
A prominent politician debates with 9 other contenders.
I firmly believe that we need somebody here who understands our local issues.
And tapping instead of texting. Local teens learn how to communicate old school.
It's a dying art. We don't want to lose it. It's part of our history.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Alicia Fieldberg.
Hello and thank you for joining us. A Siksika man has now been charged with first-degree murder and attempted murder after 2 men were killed in a fatal hit and run over the weekend. Another woman was critically injured. Police have seized the vehicle they believe was involved and continue to investigate as family members deal with the shock and grief. Tyson Fedor reports.
It wasn't the phone call that Lori Cutter was expecting.
My nephew didn't leave because he was sick. He didn't leave he left because he was murdered. His life was taken, and I'm still in shock. I still wake up thinking, oh my God, I'm never going to see Trayton again.
Her nephew, 27-year-old Trayton Runningbird, was killed Saturday night around 9:30 after being run over by a pickup truck.
I can't even explain the level of grief and hurt and anger our family is going through.
Investigators say upon arrival, they determined the hit and run was deliberate.
When you lay a charge of first-degree murder, you're definitely showing a clear intent ahead of time that this was the plan for this individual. And we don't lay these charges half-heartedly.
27-year-old Adolphus Weaselchild was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of attempted murder. 45-year-old Clifton Saddleback was also killed. His girlfriend, Emmeline Turningrove, was also hit, suffering critical injuries. She has underwent several surgeries at Foothills Medical Center. Her daughter, Shade Pantherbone, was with them all at the time, escaping unharmed.
I heard it rev its engine, and I had a feeling. I was like, you guys, we should get out the way, get in the field. I feel like they're going to hit us.
Pantherbone was engaged to Runningbird and had seen his alleged killer earlier that night.
We had an altercation. One of them hit my mans, and he chased them down.
Pantherbone says she lost the love of her life in a flash.
No one deserves to die like that. No one ever deserves to get taken and left like that.
One criminal expert says first-degree murder charges can be challenging to prove.
That's a really hard standard to meet, that it was planned before it got there, and that at the moment of the action, the intent was to kill.
Tyson Fedor, CTV News, Calgary.
Family of Trayton Runningbird are holding a candlelight vigil at the spot he was killed. It will take place tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. RCMP Major Crimes is continuing to investigate, including the possibility that there were others in the vehicle at the time of the deaths. Friends and family gathered at a funeral home to share their memories of Madison Cobb this afternoon. A celebration of life was held for the 23-year-old. Her obituary says Cobb will be remembered for her laughter, contagious smile, and the way she lit up every room she entered. Cobb was killed in a parking garage near her work in Haysboro earlier this month. Her ex-boyfriend, Devin Malik, who Cobb had issued a restraining order against, has been charged with first-degree murder in her death and will be back in court next month. Calgary police have charged a man with sexual assault involving a child more than a decade ago. Engelbert Serrano Celis is facing several charges for crimes dating back to 2011 and 2012. The 54-year-old is accused of sexually assaulting a girl who says the abuse started when she was 9. Investigators say Celis was an extended family member of the victim. The mother of a 1-year-old baby is concerned that there's no available COVID vaccine for her daughter. The infant has started daycare, increasing the risk of spread. But as of Friday, no Albertans will be able to get the COVID shot. The province says it is to prepare for the fall immunization program, but health law experts say it's flawed public health policy. Stephanie Thomas reports.
Shuhiba Mohammed wanted to get the COVID vaccine for her 12-month-old daughter to coincide with her child attending daycare and her return to work. But she was told she would have to wait until the fall.
They're making it very hard for parents to ensure that their children can be healthy in this province. It makes me feel a little helpless.
Health Canada has approved the Moderna Spikevax vaccine for children under age 12. Officials say Alberta's supply expired June 17th. Eligible children aged 6 months to 11 years who need a dose of COVID-19 vaccine will need to wait until new vaccines arrive for the fall immunization program.
I really want to avoid having a very sick child. I would love for her to have some immunity so that her body can fight against COVID if she happens to get it before she can get immunized in the fall.
As well, Albertans over age 12 only have until July 31st to have a shot of Pfizer or Moderna's vaccine at a pharmacy or a doctor's office. After that, no jabs will be administered until sometime mid-October. The province says it's pausing the COVID immunization program and wants to order the vaccine that offers protection against the latest strain. In a previous announcement, the province said eligible Albertans will have to pay for a dose, estimated at above $100. Healthcare workers will also have to pay. The shot will remain free of charge to residents of a senior's home, immunocompromised individuals, people on income support, or people experiencing homelessness. Health law experts are concerned the new program increases health inequity.
There's a link between wealth and health, and those who are healthiest are often also those who are able to afford these things, whereas those who are not as healthy or who live in situations that are more conducive to the spread of communicable diseases.
There are no details about how much COVID vaccine the province is ordering. Stephanie Thomas, CTV News, Calgary.
28 new measles cases are confirmed in Alberta. 20 of those are in the South Zone. Calgary has 1 new case today, bringing the total to 50. Alberta is considered the hotspot in North America, exceeding the total number of cases in all of the United States. Doctors advise the best protection is to ensure you are up to date with your immunizations. City crews are still working to clean up low-lying areas after relentless rain the last few days, flooding impacting several areas, including Confederation Park. Pathways are washed out and the grass is soaked. The majority of the damage is in the park's northeast corner. At the Rosemount Community Association, the water disrupted summer camps and forced walkers and bikers to find alternate routes. The area councillor says water problems have been happening on and off since May.
Anybody who's been in Confederation Park, and for that matter, any of the low-lying areas, there's pooling and puddling all over the place. It's part of the regular process of going in and cleaning up both the storm water that's retained on the surface, as well as any vegetation that's there. There have been a number of incidences that have been tracked in there, but at this point, I don't have an actual cost for it.
Just like the city has a snow clearing budget, there's also money for public flooding. The stormwater maintenance budget will cover cleanup costs. The first ears of Tabor's famous corn are now popping up at farm stands in southern Alberta. Producers say the crop is looking good despite a slower than expected harvest. Tabor corn is known for its sweetness and quality due to perfect growing conditions. The corn will soon be available across the prairies. Danielle, I know you're hoping for a long corn season because you're a big fan of the Tabor corn. Me too. It's really good.
We are very passionate about the Tabor corn. It's a wonderful thing. All right, so another thing to talk about, and maybe this helped the corn, I don't know, but I will say this. This time yesterday, we were basically in 5th place for the wettest July. We're now, this is officially the 3rd wettest July on record for the city of Calgary. So on Sunday night through Monday, we got anywhere from 22 to 25 millimeters of rain. That helped us get into 3rd. So we medaled here, everybody. We're not going to get into 2nd because there's no more rainfall expected for the rest of the month, because it should be dry until Friday night. So for tomorrow, a lot of sunshine, 15 to kick off the day. Yes, you may see a few fog patches. It probably won't be as bad as it was this morning, but fog patches possible in parts of the city tomorrow morning. A high of 27 in the afternoon with a whole lot of sunshine. More details coming up.
Thanks, Danielle. A summer attraction that tours across Canada is landing in Calgary next month. The Big Bounce is an inflatable park that includes several giant bouncy castles, an obstacle course, and slides. It will be at Spruce Meadows on August 9th, 10th, 15th, and 17th. Tickets are sold in sessions that cater to different age groups, including toddlers, juniors, bigger kids, and adults. An Alberta woman is warning others about identity theft. Someone used her information to get a credit card, and the bank went after her to repay thousands of dollars charged on the card.
You're watching CTV News, Calgary.
10 candidates running in the Alberta riding, where Pierre Poilievre hopes to win next month's by-election, faced off in a debate in Camrose tonight.
It would be the privilege of my life to provide both the local representation and the national leadership to the community.
I am not here for any personal aspirations. I am here for you. I am here for my neighbors. I am here for all of our communities.
The candidates debated at the largest venue in Camrose. The sold-out event had 580 tickets. A moderator asked questions submitted by the public ahead of time. There are more than 200 candidates, part of the longest ballot protest initiative, but for logistical reasons, not all could take part in the debate. Damien Kirk won the seat in the federal election, but resigned so Poilievre could run in the Conservative stronghold. Some locals say no matter who people support, Poilievre's participation is bringing national attention to the issues of Battle River Crowfoot.
It's almost a guaranteed loss. So why are we running? We're running as advocates. We want to be a voice. We want to bring issues that are otherwise ignored by the government. Issues like affordability.
I think it's wonderful for Camrose. It's got exposure to a national audience. It's a wonderful way of showcasing our town.
The by-election is scheduled for Monday, August 18th. Alberta's chief electoral officer is pushing back against the premier and the justice minister. Today, Danielle Smith and Nikki Amory posted on social media suggesting Elections Alberta should not be going to court to determine if a proposed referendum question violates the Constitution. The citizen-initiated question asks, do you agree with Alberta becoming a sovereign country and ceasing to be a province in Canada? The government says the whole point of the legislation is to give Albertans democratic rights without needless bureaucratic red tape or court applications slowing the process. But the chief electoral officer says the act also says referendum questions can't contravene the Constitution, so it will carry out in court. A southern Alberta woman had her personal information used to fraudulently obtain a credit card. What's worse, the bank went after her to repay thousands in charges the fraudster racked up. Tyler Barrow has more.
In early March, Katrina Whitwer was taken by surprise about a pending credit card application she never filled out. That's when the Airdrie woman did a credit report check and found out there was another credit card issued in her name she never applied for. Whitwer was reluctant to go on camera, but her husband, Dustin Haywood, who happens to be a cybersecurity expert, did.
We called BMO to identify, hey, this is fraud. They told us over the phone, go into a branch with your ID, and we'll sort it out.
The card issued in February had a limit of $22,000. $17,000 was already spent. Whitwer went to RCMP. The pending credit card application was thrown out, and BMO verified Whitwer's identity and told them everything would be fine.
So they closed the account right then and there as fraud.
Well, last week, BMO took legal action against Whitwer to repay the debt. Haywood went back to work on the case.
We tried to tell him, hey, look, this is a fraud case. He says, no, stop. This is the way this is going to happen. And starts proceeding to go all lawyerly-like.
When Whitwer told the bank she was speaking to CTV News, BMO dropped the case.
All I want from this is them to back off, give me an apology.
In a statement to CTV News, BMO says, we confirm that the law firm will no longer be taking any further steps in the matter. In addition, we are working with the credit bureau to update the client's file as soon as possible and ensure there is no impact on their credit report. One anti-fraud expert isn't surprised by the bank's handling of the situation.
This is actually part of the bigger institutional, structural, societal problem. It shouldn't take going to the media every time for our banks to do the right thing.
Since not everyone has a cybersecurity professional in their corner.
The system is not engineered for the little guy, it's engineered for the big guy.
Tyler Barrow, CTV News, Airdrie.
Two local nonprofit animal organizations are warning others about a scam involving fake checks and emotional manipulation. Jacqueline Wilson reports.
Do you know how to sit? Every year, the Calgary Humane Society takes in thousands of animals, and that comes at a cost.
Calgary Humane Society, we don't receive any government funding, so we rely on the generosity of the public, from private donors, from our corporate sponsors.
So when the Calgary Humane Society received a check for $95,000, it would have made a huge difference. Same for the Alice Sanctuary when it opened mail with the same amount. Both came with a letter from a lawyer claiming it was a gift from a donor's estate. But there was a hitch. They were also asked to send back a certain lesser amount to cover the cost of an injured dog, but left to keep the rest.
It was quite manipulative when you think about it, using their partners and the loss, the grief, and then Lizzie, their dog, who was also in urgent medical care needs, and that's what they needed the $70,000 for. And then $25,000 was to be donated to us at the sanctuaries.
Scammers hope you deposit the check, transfer your money to them before the bank's hold period ends, and they confirm the check bounced. Luckily, neither group submitted the check after red flags began to pop up.
Incredibly disheartening, incredibly selfish. Animals in Calgary need this help. So, yeah, very disappointing and quite surprising as well. We've never seen anything like this come through.
Data from the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre shows Canadians lost almost $640 million to fraud last year. But the Better Business Bureau estimate that stat is higher because only 5% of fraud gets reported to police.
You need to verify the information. Who are they? Their identity, their address, their phone number, email, their bank, so on. You can verify and validate a lot of information.
The Better Business Bureau suggests people head to their scam tracker to report and research what scams are out there to make sure that they never fall victim. Jacqueline Wilson, CTV News, Calgary.
We'll soak in the sunny days because it looks like a few are expected. Then we may get some more rain. Danielle has the details in her forecast up next.
Feel that? Is there a bounce in your step? You're getting some vitamin D. The sun is out. It will be out for days. I know, it almost seems ridiculous considering we medaled. We got a bronze for the third wettest July ever on record for the city of Calgary. But for the rest of the month, we are looking sunny and dry. So we did get to a high of 22 degrees for today. We will get much higher than that for tomorrow. So high 20s for tomorrow. The temperatures will go up. Ridge of high pressure is in place. Lots of sunshine expected, believe it or not, for the next 3 days. Mid-20s for Victoria, Vancouver, Edmonton, and then off to the east, they're going to get really hot temps, already getting into the 30s for Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, and they'll get much hotter than that. Okay, so radar and satellite, we did have that instability building right along the mountains. There's not enough in place thanks to this ridge of high pressure for any of this to gain some steam and really track off to the east. So along 22 is really the furthest it went, and that's exactly what we could expect for tomorrow. So basically 22 and off to the west, you may see some shower thunderstorm activity, non-severe. And that even all the way into about Cranbrook. But outside of that, it's sunshine, it's heat, it's the brightness that we need. All right, there's that ridge of high pressure. This will stay in place in through Friday as well. And then Friday night, this will deteriorate. And then rain moves in Friday night. Through the weekend, temperatures will cool quite a bit as well. So it's a different temperature and weather pattern overall, again, by the time we get to Friday night. So make the best of this. Lots of sunshine for tomorrow, as you can see here. There's a look at that little bit of development right along the mountains. Pincher Creek, Crowsnest Pass over to Cranbrook. Again, we have the potential of some non-severe thunderstorm activity or at least some showers, but basically 22 and east, nothing but sun. We may see a few fog patches in the city in the morning, just like we did this morning, but nothing else other than that, nothing to worry about. 27 degrees for our high for tomorrow, whole lot of sunshine, 26 for Thursday and 27 for Friday. Again, Friday night in through Saturday, we are looking at rainfall. The temperature pattern changes as well, so we're looking at just a high of 21 by Saturday. And Friday night through Saturday, we're looking at picking up about 10 to 15 millimeters of rain, and then unstable with late day thunderstorms possible on Sunday.
Thanks, Danielle. Most people have heard about Morse code, but can you actually use it? Some Calgary teens are learning how as part of a club dedicated to the old-timey telecommunications method. Team Alberta is celebrating a national U18 football title for the first time in 18 years. The Football Canada Cup in Nova Scotia featured the best under-18 players from across the country. Players were thrilled with the come-from-behind win.
I was part of Team Alberta the last 2 years too, but this was definitely the craziest experience.
It's unbelievable. Wow, it was an amazing feeling. It was a shock. You know, not many people get to say that they're the best in the nation.
It was a one-of-a-kind experience for sure. We all bought in and came together.
This is Team Alberta's 7th U18 Football Canada Cup win in its history. It's a declining art, and Morse code is in danger of disappearing forever. But at Heritage Park, a new generation of telegraph operators is emerging. The park is one of the only places in North America that's teaching the craft to teens. Kevin Fleming reports.
They're two of the 6 junior members of the Morse Telegraph Club at Heritage Park. Sienna Wright says it's easier to send a message in Morse code than to receive and decode one. Her technique is to write down what she hears and then turn the code into letters of the alphabet.
I'm fascinated by the past. I really like learning how things were done and dressing up like the past, so I really enjoy doing this.
Ariane Aubin has memorized the code and says it takes a keen ear to decipher an incoming message. Her sister is a member too, and they practice at home.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. I've texted her in Morse code before. I've also tapped between our walls at home, so it's sort of like our own little thing that no one else really understands.
Morse code was invented in the 1840s as a way to send messages quickly over long distances.
The railroads primarily used it to transmit train orders from a dispatcher to a little station like this. That was the chief reason. They weren't using it all the time, so any extra capacity in the system, it was telegrams.
To get messages to engineers and conductors of a moving train, operators used hoops at the end of a long pole so the train didn't have to stop, a technique still in practice at the park. Marilyn McGuire heads the club and says visitors at the park enjoy seeing their names spelled out in Morse code. She says it's important to teach the craft to the next generation.
It's a dying art. People who did it as a job are in their late 80s, some of them in their 90s. There are a few that have picked it up and learned as their 70s. But this is the only club internationally that has been working with young people.
We have people come in that say their grandparents used to do it. And it's sort of nice for like a newer generation to sort of continue, know a bit of the history.
Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Calgary.
And good operators had to decode messages accurately, of course, and send at a rate of at least 15 words a minute. Thanks for staying up late with us.